I spent 15 years studying memory, perfecting techniques to help trauma victims. I thought I understood how fragile memory could be. I've been studying memory for 15 years. I know how it works. The encoding, the consolidation, the retrieval. I know how fragile it is, how easily it can be manipulated. That's exactly why I'm here, in this sterile research facility, perfecting techniques that could help trauma victims overcome their worst experiences. I'm good at this. Better than good, I'm one of the leading experts in memory modification. My techniques have helped dozens of patients move past devastating experiences. Today should be a routine. The subject is Sarah, a 28-year-old woman participating in our experimental memory modification program. She's lying on the examination table, electrodes attached to her temples, describing the false memory we've implanted. It's a beautiful summer day at a beach house, she tells me. She's 7 years old, building sandcastles with her grandfather. The sand is so warm between my toes, she says, eyes closed, lost in the fabricated experience. Grandfather is teaching me to make the towers perfectly round. He has these gentle, weathered hands, and he smells like pipe tobacco and sea salt. No. I'm taking notes, documenting the clarity and emotional resonance of the implanted memory. This is what I do. I've overseen hundreds of these sessions, but something about Sarah's description makes my pen pause over the paper. The way she describes those hands, the specific smell of pipe tobacco mixed with sea salt. These details feel familiar. Not just familiar in the way that all implanted memories follow similar patterns. Familiar like I've lived them myself. That's impossible, I tell myself. Key designed this memory template. Of course, it feels familiar. Or is Shari. But as Sarah continues, describing how the grandfather showed her to dig the perfect moat, how he hummed an old sea shanty while they worked, something cold settles in my stomach. These aren't details from our fabrication template. These are specifics Sarah is generating herself, the way real memories bloom with authentic detail. Except, I know these details too. I know that sea shanty. I can hear it in my head right now, in a voice that sounds nothing like my own grandfather's. My grandfather, who died when I was 2. My grandfather, who never took me to any beach house. Doctor. Sarah opens her eyes, looking at me with concern. Are you all right? You look pale. I force my most professional smile. Just taking thorough notes. How do you feel about this memory? Does it seem real to you? More than real, she says without hesitation. It feels like the most real thing I've ever experienced. Like I could close my eyes and be there right now, feeling that ocean breeze. Is that normal? I tell her it is, that successful implantation often feels more vivid than actual memories. Standard, protocol. But as I walk her through the post-session procedures, my hands are trembling slightly. I keep thinking about that sea shanty, about those weathered hands building sandcastles, about a beach house I've never been to that somehow feels more like home than anywhere I've ever lived. I can't stop thinking about Sarah's session. It's been 3 days, and that beach house memory keeps surfacing in my mind like a song stuck on repeat. The melody of that sea shanty plays in my head at random moments. I catch myself humming it in the elevator. So I decide to do what any rational scientist would do. Examine the data. My own data. I pull up my personal timeline, the one I've always been certain of. Born in Chicago, 1985, daughter. Moved to Denver at age 5 when my father got transferred. My mother was a teacher, my father an accountant. No beach houses. No grandfathers who smoked pipes. No sea shanties. Just a normal Midwest childhood that led to a PhD in cognitive neuroscience. But when I close my eyes, I can still hear that melody. I can still feel warm sand between my toes. The sensations are so vivid they make my current office feel like the fabrication. This is just psychological contamination, I tell myself. I've been implanting memories for so long, the fabricated details are bleeding into my own recollections. To prove this to myself, I dig out my childhood photo albums. My mother keeps meticulous records. She always has. Every birthday, every school play, every family vacation documented and dated with her careful teacher's handwriting. I flipped through the pages, looking for evidence of my Chicago childhood, my Denver adolescence. The photos are there. Birthday parties in what looks like our Chicago apartment. My first day of school in Denver. But something's wrong with the timeline. According to my birth certificate, I was born in March 1985, but this photo of my first birthday shows snow outside the window. Thick, heavy snow. March in Chicago can be cold, but not December snow cold. I checked the date written on the back in my mother's careful handwriting. Danny's first birthday, March 15th, 1986. But I look like I'm barely walking in this photo. More like 8 or 9 months old than a year. My hands shake as I flip through more photos. Here's me at age 5, supposedly in Denver, but the mountains in the background look wrong. Too green, too rolling. Denver has the Rockies, sharp, dramatic peaks. These look more like, I don't know, somewhere else entirely. I call my mother, trying to keep my voice steady. Mom, do you remember when we moved to Denver? I was 5, right? Denver? She sounds genuinely confused. Honey, we never lived in Denver. We moved from Chicago to Portland when you were 7. Don't you remember? You cried for weeks because you missed your friends at Lincoln Elementary. What it meant? Portland. I have no memory of Portland. None at all. And Lincoln Elementary. The name means nothing to me. Mom, I need to ask you something else. Did I ever have a grandfather who smoked a pipe? Who might have taken me to a beach house? Long silence. Then, carefully. Danny, your grandfather died before you were born. Both of them did. We've talked about this before. Are you feeling all right? You sound different. Strained. Why? After I hang up, I sit in my empty apartment staring at photos that don't match my memories, holding documents that contradict my most basic beliefs about my own life. The worst part isn't the inconsistencies. The worst part is that I can't remember when I started believing I lived in Denver. I can't remember learning about my grandfather's deaths. These facts feel like information I've always known, but I can't trace them back to any actual moment of discovery. What kind of memory researcher can't trust his own memories? I haven't slept in 2 days. Can't eat. Can't focus on anything except this growing certainty that nothing about my life makes sense. My reflection in the bathroom mirror looks like a stranger wearing my face. So I do the only thing left. I break into the research database. I tell myself I'm looking for patterns in the data. Other subjects who've experienced memory bleed. Contamination between implanted and real experiences. I'm a scientist. I need evidence. But really, I'm looking for myself. I'm looking for proof that I exist. The database contains files for every test subject we've ever worked with. Hundreds of them, going back years. I search by name first. Nothing under Daniel Morris. Then by date of birth, social security number. Any identifying information that should define me. Nothing. Then I search by memory content. Beach house. Grandfather. Pipe tobacco. Sea shanty. Subject SM247 appears on my screen. The file is extensive. 47 pages of session notes, brain scans, psychological evaluations. My coffee mug slips from my hands as I scroll down to the subject photo, shattering on the floor like my certainty. It's me. Younger, maybe by 5 years, but definitely me. Same eyes, same scar on my chin from what I thought was a childhood accident. The file lists my real name, Stephen Marcus, along with a history I don't recognize. Parents died in car accident when I was 12. Raised by the state. History of dissociative episodes following trauma. Admitted to experimental program at age 23. Primary researcher, Dr. Elizabeth Kane. Dr. Kane. My mentor. The woman who hired me, who's guided my career for the past 15 years. Except, according to this file, she's been studying me, not working with me. I'm not her colleague. I'm her lab rat. I scroll through session after session, each one a violation I don't remember. Memory implantation procedures. Personality modification protocols. Construction of false identity as Daniel Morrison. complete with fabricated childhood, artificial educational background, synthetic professional expertise. Everything I know about memory research, every technique, every theory, every moment of professional pride, it's all been implanted. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher. I'm the subject. I've always been the subject. But then, why can I remember learning these things? Why do I have 15 years of professional memories that feel so real? Why do I know how to perform these procedures if I never actually learned them? I keep reading, nausea building. The project goal becomes crystal clear. Create a subject so thoroughly convinced of their false identity that they can convincingly implant memories in others. The ultimate test of the technology, a research assistant who doesn't know they're actually a patient. My hands won't stop shaking. I scroll to the most recent entries. Yesterday's date. Dr. Kane's notes in her familiar handwriting. Subject continues to demonstrate no awareness of true identity. Memory barriers holding strong despite increased proximity to similar cases. Recommend proceeding to phase 3. Allow subject to discover partial truth as test of psychological resilience. If subject maintains stability through revelation, they may be valuable for training other researchers in the ethics of memory manipulation. End. Partial truth. This discovery, this moment of shattering revelation, it's part of the experiment. She wanted me to find this file. She wanted me to break down, to question everything. Even my breakdown is data. But if this is all planned, if even my trembling hands and racing heart are just programmed responses to programmed stimuli, then what's real? Am I really Stephen Marcus? Or is that just another layer of the lie? I am not Daniel Morrison. But if Stephen Marcus only exists in this file, if his memories of trauma and state care were also implanted, then who am I really? What am I really? I've been staring at my reflection for an hour. The face looking back at me is familiar but foreign. Daniel Morrison's face. Stephen Marcus's face. Some other person's face, entirely. Maybe no one's face at all. Dr. Kane will arrive at the facility soon. I could confront her, demand answers, wave this file in her face like evidence. But what would be the point? If she's been manipulating my reality for years, why would anything she tells me now be true? Maybe there is no Stephen Marcus. Maybe that file was just another layer of deception, designed to make me question the Daniel Morrison identity so thoroughly that I'd accept whatever new reality they wanted to implant next. Or maybe Stephen Marcus is real, and Daniel Morrison was the lie. Or maybe they're both fabricated, and my real identity is buried so deep that I'll never find it. Maybe I'm not even human. Maybe I'm an AI that's been programmed to believe I have memories, a consciousness that exists only in the spaces between true and false. The strangest part is how calm I feel now. Yesterday I was shaking, panicking, desperately trying to hold on to some version of reality. Today I realize there might not be a reality to hold on to, at least not one I can access or trust. I think about Sarah, lying on that examination table, describing her beach house memory with such vivid certainty. She believed it completely, because it felt real. But feelings aren't facts, and memory isn't truth. It's just the story we tell ourselves about what happened. The stories someone else might tell us about what happened. Maybe that's all any of us have. Stories. Some implanted by scientists, with electrodes and good intentions. Some built from fragments of experience and years of repetition. Some inherited from parents who inherited them from their parents. False histories passed down like family heirlooms. How would we ever know the difference? I touched the scar on my left hand, the one I've always believed came from falling off my bike at age 7 in Denver. Except I never lived in Denver. Except maybe I did, and Portland was the lie. Except maybe the scar isn't from a bike accident at all, but from some procedure I've forgotten. Some moment of truth that had to be erased to maintain the illusion. The scar feels real under my fingertips. But then, Sarah's beach house felt real to her too. I hear footsteps in the hallway. Dr. Kane's voice, talking to someone about neural pathway modifications and memory consolidation protocols. Professional words from my professional vocabulary, which may or may not actually belong to me. In a few minutes, She'll walk through that door and see me sitting here with her files spread across my desk. She'll probably seem surprised, but the surprise might be as manufactured as everything else. This moment might be exactly what she expected, another data point in her ongoing study of how far a constructed identity can bend before it breaks. Or maybe she genuinely cares about me, whoever I am. And this whole thing is exactly what it appears to be. A research project gone wrong, with me as the accidental victim. I close the file and straighten my tie. In a few seconds, I'll have to decide who I want to be in this conversation. Daniel Morrison, the betrayed researcher. Stephen Marcus, the recovered test subject. Or someone else entirely. Someone who exists in the space between certainty and doubt. The footsteps stop outside my door. I am. That's all I know for certain. I am, and I remember, and those memories make me who I am, whether they're true or not. Whether I'm real or not. The door opens.